Hello to all you guys out there in YouTube land. It is I, the Miser. I truly hope you enjoy the 31 Days of Horror here on Monty G's channel. But I just wanted to say, have a safe and happy Halloween. And by the way, just because October is over doesn't mean that I can't get you and haunt you, especially if you come after my gift. It is only reserved for Monty G only. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the 31 Days of Horror. And now, back to Monty G's review of the Lair. Hey horror fans, once again it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Yes, we are coming to the end of the 31 Days of Horror, and for my final review for the 31 Days of Horror, we're going to review Neil Marshall's latest horror film called The Lair. Yes. Now, The Lair is a 2022 British horror film, and it was directed by Neil Marshall. It was written by Neil Marshall and Charlotte Kirk. Now, the film stars Charlotte Kirk, Jamie Bammer, Leon Okaden, Heidi Kanjapur, and Haiti Kanjapur. I'll get that name right. Now, in this movie, when Royal Air Force pilot Lieutenant Kate Sinclair is shot down over Afghanistan, she finds refuge in an abandoned underground bunker where deadly man-made biological weapons, half human, half alien, are awakened. Oh no. You know, one thing that horror fans like seeing is a bunch of ragtag underdogs put into a situation where they have to fight off monsters, creatures, or aliens in a closed environment. Whether it's a closed-off police station, a warehouse, or an abandoned spaceship, we love seeing them fight their asses off against the odds. You know, whether it's horror movies such as Aliens or The Thing are great examples of this type of situation where we see groups of people fighting against aliens or an alien creature in a closed or hostile environment. Now it seems that British film director and writer Neil Marshall is a fan of this setup, as we've seen that two of his more popular movies, Dog Soldiers and The Descent, play into this type of a setup in those two movies. Well, whether in Dog Soldiers they were somewhere out in the English moors trapped in this castle fighting off werewolves, or we have a bunch of lady sky dwellers trapped in a cave fighting off creatures in The Descent. So now Neil Marshall is back doing a similar setup with his latest horror film called The Lair. Set in 2017, things get started quickly when Royal Air Force pilot Lieutenant Kate Sinclair is shot down in an Afghan province where she takes refuge in an abandoned Russian bunker. While trying to hide from her pursuers, she inadvertently releases a humanoid-looking creature who kills some of them and injures her before she escapes the bunker. After being rescued and brought to a nearby U.S. Army base to treat her wounds, she tries to convince Major Roy Finch that there is something terrible going on in that bunker. It's not been long before Sinclair and Finch's ragtag soldiers have to fight their lives against these man-made alien creatures. Yes, it's a typical setup that we've seen before. Now, in order for this setup to work, you have to have a group of characters that the audience will pull for and wants them to survive this ordeal that they find themselves in, because the characters are dull and flat. Nobody's not going to care about it, and is not going to make anyone care who survives in his film. So you got to have a group of characters everyone likes. We saw that in Alien and Aliens, we saw that in The Thing, and we saw that in The Descent. All those characters in those films, we really loved them. We wanted all of them to succeed. And we also get that in Neil's Dog Soldiers and The Descent, as they both had a group of characters that we all wanted them to survive. Now we get this same thing in this movie, as we do have some decent characters such as Private Everett, the klepto Lafayette because he likes to swipe things, the unflappable Sergeant Oswald Jones, and my personal favorite, the Afghan native Kubar, and he has one of the funniest lines in the film. Not going to say what it is, but when you hear it, you'll crack up like I did. Now, while the dialogue may be cheesy and a bit wonky, it mainly works due to the actors doing their best to what Neil and his lovely wife Charlotte have crafted here. It's not the best dialogue in the world, but the actors do a fine job. Speaking of Charlotte Kirk, she does a fine job as Lieutenant Sinclair, a spunky, no-nonsense woman who will fight with her fellow soldiers while also making sure that she can get home to her son. I think she does a good job as being a leader, a fighter, a strong woman that will go down to the fight with her fellow soldiers and making sure that, hey, look, if I get out of this, all I want to do is be able to get home and be with my son. Now, all the other actors do their jobs well with the script, despite the cheesy and wonky dialogue that I mentioned earlier, but there's really nothing outstanding here. I don't think there's any more memorable characters like, say, Hudson in Aliens, and obviously Juno in The Descent. Those were very outstanding characters, mainly because how the actors portray them. Not saying that the actors here did a bad job, there's just nothing really memorable here. But like I said, but despite the cheesy and wonky script, they did a pretty good job in doing what they had to do. It seems that Neil Marshall didn't have the budget that he had in The Descent, as most of the time the creatures look like stuntmen in rubber suits. It looks phony. Now, however, there are times when the creatures look very scary, especially when attacking Sinclair and the soldiers, and there's real no surprise when it's revealed who created the creatures and how it ties into why the Russians invaded Afghanistan in the first place. Nothing really fascinating here, nothing earth-shattering as far as, once we discover how the aliens landed here, why the Russians invaded Afghanistan in the first place. It might be some interesting aspects of that, playing in events that happen in real life in this film, but there's nothing earth-shattering. Like I said before, practical effects, they're decent at times, and like I said, but most of the time, when you see the alien creatures, they look like men in rubber suits. While there's really nothing new outstanding here, it's a serviceable horror movie. Like I said, it has some decent acting, some good practical effects, some decent action that might satisfy most horror fans, but nothing really earth-shattering here. You watch it, you enjoy it, and that's probably it. So I'm going to give The Lair 3 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. You guys giving it 3 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Yeah, it's not as good as Dog Soldiers or The Descent, but it's okay. You sit down, you have some fun, turn off your brain for about an hour and a half, and enjoy some soldiers trying to kick some alien butt. And so there you have it. That is my video and review for today. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share, because it really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell, that way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. And of course, everyone, please have a safe and happy Halloween, and I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.